I'm back in a trash can, and that means one thing on this channel. It's time to turn trash into art. Today I'll show you how to use the power of crafting to make cool stuff out of garbage. A practice that can save you money on craft supplies, keep a few items out of the landfill, and, perhaps most importantly, allow us to have a little fun in this garbage-filled world. We're going to start with this. A plush starface keychain made out of a dish towel. For full transparency, I didn't really use this dish towel because it's not absorbent, and I refuse to use a dish towel that doesn't do the one job I needed to do, which is absorb water. But if you have a really worn dish towel, that'll also work. We're really just using the dish towel as fabric. So if it's stained or super worn, that's okay because you can cover up the stains and worn bits with decoration, or you can just kind of embrace them because stains are cool. To make this, I first made a pattern, and that was literally just a star cut out of paper. I actually pulled up an outline of a star on my iPad, put a piece of paper on there, and then just traced the star and then cut that out. And if you're gonna do this, make sure that you make the pattern larger than you want the keychain to be because the process of sewing it together will make it a little bit smaller. Once I'd cut 2 stars out of the dish towel, I sewed on an oval felt for the face, a pom-pom for the nose, and then I just started sewing them together. Once they were almost totally sewed together, I started putting in the fluff, which for me was just the rest of the dish towel. But you could also use any fabric scraps you have or just like some fluff. To hold the keychain hardware, I cut a little rectangle of the dish towel and then sewed that in there as a little loop. Then this is just some keychain stuff I had left over from other things. I glued on these little black dots for the eyes and then little tiny pieces of white felt for some teeth. As you can see, my stitches are not nice and regular. They're very haphazard because I just kind of sew to get the job done. And I don't see anything wrong with that. So if you're not a good sewer, just go for it. And you can probably make something that holds itself together if you just try. Even though it's not perfect, it's still awesome. Another idea related to this would be to cut, if you have a dish towel that's kind of used, you're not fulfilling its role as a dish towel anymore, but you like a design on it, like some sort of embroidery on it or something, you could kind of cut that out and then make a mini pillow or a mini pillow keychain out of that, whatever's on there. Craft number 2. This is a butter lid. When we finished this butter, I was going to recycle it until I realized that I really like the shape of it. It almost looks like a frame surrounding a little canvas. So to make this, it's basically just painting. I first covered the top of the butter that I wanted to be the canvas part with white paint to cover up the design of the butter lid. Then I kind of just started painting without any real concrete idea of what it was going to look like. I was inspired by this painting. I like the pastel colors and the kind of blocked out arrangement of them. I kind of added a flower field as well. I wanted it to look a little bit like the flower field scene in Howl's Moving Castle. But you could paint anything on your butter lid. For the frame, I was kind of debating what to do. I thought maybe I would cover it in foam clay or some other 3D thing. But in the end, I just painted it with a thin layer of white paint and left it kind of patchy so you could kind of see the silver underneath. I think it adds a little bit of interest to pull in another texture I kind of want to do with the frame. What I ended up doing was wrapping a pipe cleaner with embroidery floss to make a fuzzy little hook, and then I literally just used Scotch tape to tape that on the back. And then you can hang it wherever you want. You may not get the same brand of butter as me, but this could be applied to any type of lid that you like the shape of. So you could just be on the lookout for trash you like. And also, of course, you don't have to paint a landscape. You could paint literally anything you want. I think something like this could be cool this way as a portrait, or you could paint a fish, or literally anything. I think things like this are really nice because, instead of having to go buy a canvas, you already have one. I like this craft because it's infinitely customizable. You can use any lid that you have. It doesn't have to be the shape, just any lid that interests you. You can paint anything you want. And also, you don't have to go to the store to buy a canvas to paint something. My partner loves mints. Every time I look at the empty container, I'm like, this could really be used for something cool. But I can't figure out quite what. Until now. I realized that if you take off the lid, and hang it like this, it could be a little mini shrine. We'll get to the hair later. My first step, once I took the lid off, was the same as with the butter lid, to paint it white. And I just like to do that, especially for things that are like branded or have a pattern on them, because it gives me a blank canvas so I can better imagine what I want it to look like once I've customized it. So then I decided, God, dirty. Then I decided to paint it kind of this odd, it's really hairy. No, not that hairy, this hair. Then I decided to paint it this like yellowy color, and from there it was just decoration. This is like a pom-pom ribbon that I hot glued around the rim, and I think the ribbon did a good job of concealing like the mint containerness of it. And then I just like hot glued on some gems. I put some gem stickers in there. I hot glued like a little plastic flower in there, and then I stuck on some like pearl stickers and gem stickers, and just kind of like a vaguely symmetrical pattern. I didn't have a plan. I just knew that I wanted it to be like kind of cutesy and kind of weird. And I was having a lot of fun decorating it. Now I feel like I need to address the hair at the bottom. If you watched my videos before, you might have noticed that my hair is a lot shorter than it was. And that's because I just cut it the other day. This actually isn't from that. I just will randomly, like even when my hair was longer, I would just cut off strands of it randomly, just like day to day, because it felt right. Does anyone else do that? Like, you know, from day to day, your hair might need a little trimming. Maybe that's a curly hair person thing, or maybe I'm weird. But I had cut off this long blonde lock. I kept it because I saw these bags by the designer Ashley Williams that have like trash in them, and some of them have locks of hair in them, and I was like, that's awesome. And so I wanted to make myself like that transparent trash filled bag, and I actually did work on that, and I almost finished it, but not quite. But I did end up using the hair. So I still had some hair, and I thought it looked really nice with this pink ribbon. And so I just kind of taped it onto the bottom of this shrine. I think it really adds to like the weird, almost like mystical quality of it. And I like that it makes it a little strange and unique. You don't have to add hair to this. You can add whatever you want. If you like the hair but don't want to cut off your own hair, you could always braid like embroidery floss and make like a weird little hair tail out of embroidery floss. Or you could just add like a string of beads. I taped a ribbon, a little strand of ribbon onto it to make it be able to hang. This ribbon is actually trash as well because I cut it off like a shirt or a skirt or something at some point, because I hate when like anything is inside of my clothes touching me. I really love the way this looks as wall decor. You can hang it just by itself, or you can put like little trinkets inside of it to kind of like showcase them. And again, this doesn't have to be a mint container. You could use like a rectangular container, especially if you wanted to make a shrine to display trinkets. You could use a more rectangular and like deeper container, kind of like the bottom of the butter dish that I had actually. And then you could like decorate that and then put little trinkets in it. And because it's light, you know, it's plastic, it'll just hang on the wall with like a thumbtack or a nail or something. It's really, really light. For the next craft, we're going to be talking about cardboard, which I'm pretty sure most of us have had in our house at some point. I bet most of you probably have cardboard in your house right now, actually. And while we can recycle it, you can also make so many cool things out of cardboard. I'm definitely not a cardboard artist, but when I saw these giant buttons, I knew what I had to do. Cardboard buttons. It's a relatively simple project. Basically, you're just cutting circles out of cardboard. I used different size bowls and plates to trace to trace circles on the cardboard and then just cut those out. This one, like I cut out the middle, obviously. To make the holes in the middle, I stabbed a screwdriver in there, and then I put some scissors in there and kind of wiggled those around, but it was making a pretty uneven hole. Then I think you need to like put something round into the hole. So I took a like tapered candle and put that in there and wiggled it around until it made like a relatively circular hole. With the tools I had, it was making pretty messy like edges. So I did try to clean it up with an X-Acto knife. It's definitely still not perfect, but the paint did help. And then I took another ribbon that I salvaged off of a piece of clothing and just wrapped that around the middle for thread. You could also use a pipe cleaner or just like yarn or any kind of string. And then you have a cute little wall decoration. I tried getting creative and making one that was kind of like a starburst shape. This was a different cardboard than the other one though. It was a lot flimsier, so it ended up with a lot of ridges on it. So I tried to cover that up by painting like a pattern on it. You can make a button of any shape you want, decorate it however you want, and then you have a very whimsical wall decoration. Have you ever seen these trinket mobiles? They're so cool and I've been admiring them for a long time. I have a lot of trinkets. I've been collecting them my whole life. So when I saw this trinket mobile, I was like, I want to make that with the trinkets I've been collecting. But I don't have any wire. But then I realized that I could use the spiral from a spiral bound notebook as the wire to make a trinket mobile. Once I was done with this notebook I pulled out the wire spiral. It's not a very strong wire, so I wanted to pick trinkets that were a little on the lighter side, and then I tied those to like stretchy string, like transparent stretchy string, and then I tied the strings of trinkets to the wire, which I had shaped into kind of like a spirally shape, and I left the wire kind of like loopy. And then to help support it, everywhere I had tied a string of trinkets to the wire, I tied a clear string going upwards. Then those all met at the top and I just kind of clipped them together. This was a very delicate craft. I've just got it hanging from this lamp for now, and that's the best solution I can think of for right now, but I do plan to move it eventually. I think the end result is really cool and I like looking at it because every single one of the little trinkets hanging from there is a memory for me. Do I suggest making this? If you have patience, yeah, I think it might be worth making. But you know, this is one of those crafts where I do think you'd have an easier time if you went out and bought a stronger wire, but that wouldn't fit the brief of this video, would it? Unlike the trinket mobile, this craft is really easy and simple. It's just ribbons made out of wrappers. God, there's just hair on everything. It started with this one. I made these back at Christmas time. This is like a peppermint chocolate or something. I had eaten them while I was junk journaling and I liked the stripes. So I was just kind of like playing around, cutting it. And then I realized that it would make a cute little ribbon if I added some like other paper and doily, and these are like little gem stickers and pearl stickers. And this is just like a little bow. This is a cute little decoration now, and I could put it on my wall. I also think it would look really cute on like a gift that you've wrapped. I made another one with this Andes mint wrapper. These ribbons could be made with any kind of wrapper that you have, just anything that you like the pattern of. So I think it's like a nice craft that encourages you to kind of like look at what you're consuming more closely, kind of like the butter landscape or the mint shrine. It's kind of encouraging you to look at the trash that you generate more closely and to see if any of it like sparks your creativity or makes you want to make something. Because I bet you that something that in your house that will eventually be trash has a pattern or a shape that you enjoy that you could make a craft out of. I also think that these wrapper ribbons would be nice to use in a junk journal, and I of course cannot make a video about making crafts out of trash without talking about junk journaling, which is a lot of things. I don't think we need to like very precisely define what junk journaling is, but junk, it is in the name. And that's because I think junk journaling does encourage you to take things that you would normally throw away, like receipts or tickets, packaging, just any like vaguely two-dimensional object that comes across your path, and to create something out of it, specifically in a journal. I do a lot of junk journaling. I think it's really fun. There is no right or wrong way to do it. So if you're interested, just get a journal and a glue stick or whatever, some scissors, and just start going for it. You can do it with trash. You can get like some nice supplies too, like some nice paper, some stickers. You can really just do whatever you want. I recommend you just start gluing things in a journal and see if you like that feeling, because I sure do. Okay, overall, I hope that this video encourages you to look at trash or garbage or junk in a new light. I think that's like my main goal. I hope that when you're going throughout your day and you've just eaten something or you're about to put something in the recycling or the trash, you're like, hold on, what if I did something kind of cool with this? I hope this encourages you to just try it. If you fail, it was trash to begin with, so really all you've lost is nothing. Also, I think it's a good idea to kind of collect items that you think are interesting, but not to hoard them. Try to keep only what you'll actually use, and if you do start a collection, I would encourage you to like check in on it regularly and make sure you still want that stuff, and not just keep saving and saving things for a day that will never come. For your creativity to be at its peak, I think you definitely don't want to be bogged down with stuff. Then it will start feeling more like a to-do list than fun crafts. And also, if you are saving stuff, try to keep it organized and go through it regularly. And if something isn't speaking to you anymore, just get rid of it because it was trash to begin with, remember? Okay, I think that's it. If you enjoyed this, I made another video like this that you can watch. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more of my artsy craftsy videos. Thanks for watching, bye bye! Oh God!